I've had some thoughts on it, and there's a lot of room for improvement, or not improvement, but expansion, that, we can get back to somewhat of a more interesting meeting, and I'll bring that up in a few moments. But we don't have to stand, but please pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And as we did last week, let's take a moment of reflection to pray that we get through this insidious coronavirus, and that we, our families, and our friends all stay safe and healthy through it all. It's been so far quite an experience in certain respects, and we'll get on to that. But as you can see, slides are going to be sent out weekly to all members until regular meetings resume. When that is a good question, and but it will be. Member news and outdoor activity updates on the slides will keep us connected during our period. Our meetings are suspended, and as of now, we're still planning to have our outdoor activities. The golf courses, if anybody gets the emails from the golf courses, they're taking precautions. You bring your own water, bring your own beverage, you bring your own things. You don't remove the pins, and minimal contact with anything, but they're keeping the courses open, both for, I guess, morale and some revenue. But that's a go. We're still talking about, thinking about our day of cleanup. And I think on that, we would bring our own tools and whatever they supply us, but we'll be wearing gloves, and if they got rubber gloves and to give us, that'll work. We'll find out more. We got at least a month before we start thinking about that. If you got any questions or comments or news, please don't hesitate to email. You see the emails down here. Myself, Carl Bunch, and Phil Schechter. This way we can pass them on and get them on the slides, and keep everybody informed. So we're going to, again, muddle through. We had our board meeting last Thursday, and as I had indicated at our regular meeting, we had heard, I spoke to the pastor, Reverend Van Dyke, and he was going to notify me on Friday. But as we were having our board meeting and just about to discuss the issue, he called and said they were canceling all activities. So that made, for a shortened board meeting, we didn't have to discuss what we were going to do, and we just are going to wait until they tell us we can come back. I've had a number of cancellations. I've canceled out the next 3 weeks of speakers because, our speakers are normally give a 45-minute presentation, and we coordinate with the slides, so that something we got to maybe look into, but I've got some thoughts on that. We reviewed the activities again till the end of June. We'll see later, Larry will bring us up to speed on that. There's been some minor changes and corrections to the bylaws and our procedures, prompted by things that we've seen over the last year and some questions that were raised. And they'll be submitted to the membership next week, and then we can take a vote on it. And I don't know how, Steve, I don't know, is there any way of voting for something, or do we just go one by one and aye or nay?
There's a voting mechanism.
There is a voting mechanism. Okay, great. And then we approved the 2020 annual budget. However, it was approved not knowing what we're doing for the next 2 or 3 months. But we think that some of the problems that we may have are going to be corrected by some of the problems we do have. We're not going to be paying rent. So some of our expenses, you can see it up on the board, we will save $100 a week on the rental, and that'll go, probably at least $800 over the next couple of months. That will cover some of the other expenses that we have. So we should be fine there, and we'll take a look at this again before the break in June at the next board meeting, and then we will, if everything, pray to God that everything is back to normal again by September when we have our board meeting. Brian will more than likely come up with a better revision of the budget through the end of the year. But I think right now we're looking pretty whole. So do we need to approve the budget by the membership?
Not as far as I've been able to find.
It was just the board approves it and it's presented to the membership.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Okay, so Brian, thank you for great job on putting this budget together, and
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I enjoyed it.
okay, do you have any comments on it, Brian?
Only that it's nice to see that we have a positive operating net on the bottom. And the main reason for that, of course, is the $10 increase in member dues. Otherwise, most of the costs are pretty much the same as they've been in times gone by. It's more like if you guys have any questions on the details, but the main thing is that it looks like we're going to make some money. And of course, as you said, the facility costs are going to go down while the membership dues went up. So that puts us in a good operating net position.
All right, great, thank you, Brian. Okay, Ira, are you there? Is Ira on?
It doesn't look like he's on.
No, I don't see him.
I don't see his name on.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I'm just looking. All right, I'll play Ira. The meeting of March 12 minutes was sent out. Everybody should have gotten an email on it. I'm going to assume that they've been approved, that everybody accepts them, and they're approved. Unless anybody here has an issue, they're approved. Before I sign off on this end of it, I did speak to John Cullen just about a quarter of 10, and he was just leaving to go to therapy, so I guess he's still going to therapy, and sounded well, and said to say hello to all the guys. So that's the message from John at this point. Okay, I'll go to the next slide.
Okay, can you move the slide down a little bit? The St. Patrick's Day luncheon has been canceled. We've requested our return of our deposit. They have not acceded to that yet. They said, let me read it here. They want to put our deposit in, we transferred your deposit. Once again, we will honor your deposit for the Senior Men's Association's future date. I had, again, in response to that, I respectfully requested that our deposit be returned to us, saying we are not in a position to define a future date, as we, as does everybody else, have no idea when this emergency situation will end. The original date was yesterday. Since we informed you previously that we are postponing, we know that you had not ordered any food for our event. So I'm waiting to hear back from them about actually getting a refund of our deposit for purposes of our cash flow, whatever that might be. So right now we're not, I don't think we ought to be giving refunds back to the people who have done it. Otherwise, we're going to have a negative impact on our cash available. So that's where the matter stands on that one. Obviously, the trip to the William Lewis Dreyfus Art Collection has been canceled.
I would just speak to these couple of programs.
Go ahead.
Okay. Indeed, the one that was closest to us this month, the William Lewis Dreyfus Art Collection, I had been in touch with them, and they had advised me, in any case, that they were closing down. So that certainly, quickly got off of our schedule, and this will be an easy one to reschedule at some future date. Going on to the next slide. Here, we had announced during the meeting that the non-refundability of the deposit was close at hand, and we did agree within our group that we would cancel and request the refund. When we had contacted them, they were very reluctant to extend the reservation without keeping the deposit in place, which we did not, and it is en route back to us. Subsequently, I did see an email from their group coordinator saying that they were likely to be deferring programming, and they were not going into the office any longer. So, of course, it's very likely that their whole season will be canceled. I would hope that we would do this Goodspeed excursion again, but next spring. So time will tell. That's it for the trips and tours.
Okay. Joe, you want to speak about the day of service? I think you already have, but you might want to repeat it.
Okay, yeah, our day of service is going to be still scheduled for May 8th. all tools and supplies are going to be, at this point, if we're painting, whatnot will be provided by the city. We start at 1 a.m., 10 a.m., and go to 1 p.m. Then our master chefs break out and noon and prepare the scrumptious hot dogs and beverages that we will have at 1 p.m. And we're done. So it ends up being a nice day for everybody. So sign-ups are not, going to be required yet, and we'll see where we are come the latter part of April. We only need a couple of weeks to just to get an idea of the size of the crew that we'll have, but it will be an outdoors, and we're not going to be, we could maintain our
Close together.
social distancing. So at least it'll get a chance, give us a chance to see a few of, see each other and try and live a normal life. Go ahead, Larry.
Next slide, the Sterling Farms golf outing scheduled for June 1st. Obviously, it is currently up in the air as to whether it will go ahead, but sign-up details will be advised sometime in May. Hopefully by that time, this situation will at least be partially resolved. The golf course is open, and we'll have to see. So, going on to the next slide. The tennis tournament, same situation. It'll be scheduled for Monday, June 8th, with a rain date the following day. Larry Berger and Joe Mattel will be in charge. Again, up in the air, but hopefully by that time, situation will be resolved and to allow us to go forward with this event. Next slide, please. Rock Rimmon status for the spring luncheon on June 24th. Again, status is uncertain, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with this pandemic. Next slide. Annual picnic at Cove Island Park, September 17th. Again, hopefully the summertime will wipe out the virus, and this will be an ongoing event that will take place. And we'll have to wait and see. I guess sign-ups will start in June if the situation seems to be moving in a positive direction. Next slide. I think that is all. Okay, Carl, you're up.
Hey, well, obviously it's a very challenging year for new membership recruitment. So the number is frozen currently at 3 new members for the year. But I did take a look at the membership and its attendance for previous years and made up a slide. This indicates the number of meetings attended, how many people attended each meeting. And I found it interesting for a few reasons. The distribution of people was much more uniform than I expected. I expected more peaks at the beginning and at the end, but it's pretty uniform. As I noted on the slide, that 50% of the membership attended 16 or more meetings last year. And Alan, who's always curious about these things, asked me to put the names of those who attended the most meetings. And Walt Julius was the only person who attended, well, actually, I don't count that that's all the meetings or not, but he attended more meetings than anyone else. And the second place is a tie between 5 people. Odie, Jerry, Mike Jones, Al Goldblatt, and Joe excuse me, Joe, somehow your name is misspelled on the database. Joe DiBartolo. So next month, next week, I might do some variations on this, but I thought everybody would find it interesting. Obviously, the people at the low end are people for health reasons or distance have maintained their active member status, but due to personal reasons are unable to attend more meetings than they would like to, I guess.
Okay, up, Phil, have you got anything to report?
I can report that this group got together, which is a very therapeutic experience for all of us to be able to be in communication. And if anyone wants to share anything, this is an opportunity right now to be able to do that. So
Am I on here? I
you
don't
have
think
to
so.
unmute and in order to be able to speak. So please go ahead.
Okay.
All right, well,
Jerry, were you trying to say something?
Yes, I was. Did anybody hear me?
yes.
No, I didn't.
Nobody hears me?
Yes.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, I had a call from Arthur Mostel last evening. I have not had a chance to return it. He was in, quote, a serious automobile accident last month, but everybody is okay.
Good. That's good to hear. It's bad to hear about the accident, but good to hear
I
everybody.
don't have any other details. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Is he back in the community
He
or?
must be back in town because he called me from a local number.
Oh,
So he must be back in town from his jaunts across the country. I don't know where the accident occurred. He's on my list to call later this morning.
It could be, maybe not, because if it was a cell phone, it would be a local number.
No, it was a local number, not a cell phone number.
Anybody else have anything? I just had, for just the general information, I ended up on Sunday having some terrible pains, my lower left abdomen. And interesting, doctor did not want to get me over to the emergency room. A couple of weeks ago, my wife had diverticulitis and they took her into the emergency room and diagnosed it and everything else. So we ended up, because of this virus, trying to stay away from the ER, and diagnosed it over the phone, prescribed the medication. Fortunately, the medication not only worked on diverticulitis, it worked on UTI and kidney and bladder infections. And finally, Tuesday night, I was able to urinate, and believe it or not, I felt like a new person. So the moral of the story is don't wait until something gets severe. I mean, it happened to me Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock I was on the phone with the doctor's office and put in the call. He called me right back. And then we've been contacting, if anybody belongs to patient or signs into patient portal with the Stamford Medical Group, and their doctors are on it. I strongly suggest, if you have a question or anything else, send a message through patient portal. They get it, and they get it almost immediately, because I followed up the last couple of days with a phone call, and they told me, oh yeah, we just got the message. They're looking at it now. So keep that in mind, because it's with non-life, threatening or non-coronavirus, but we still do have issues and get sick. So take care, and seek that help right away. Phil, anything else?
I was at a clergy meeting, yesterday on Zoom also, and various denominations of Protestants were there, and there's a great frustration among the clergy because the hospital now has very limited visiting. So don't plan to visit anyone in the hospital until you check first, because chances are they're not going to let you in. They're even limiting family members, allowing maybe one person from a family to go in, and that's it, and then only for a brief time.
Thank you, Phil.
How do you get recognized to speak?
On the far left, there's a mute button. Make sure you unmute it in the bottom of the screen.
I see that. May I speak?
Oh, of course.
You're
All right.
speaking.
Please identify yourself because we don't see your picture.
Why not? I see yours.
Howie, just say your name is Howie.
My name is Howie.
Howie.
Okay, Howie.
Oh, Howie.
My question is, it was very nice. I got an email this morning. I just clicked on it and I was able to sign on to this. Is that email going to come each week with the slides?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'll be a tech whiz without Bob Butke. Thank you, guys. Signing off.
And the number will be different each time, so we don't have to save this?
Yes.
Yeah, don't save it. You'll get a different invite every week.
Okay.
Each meeting has a unique number.
Okay.
Are you going to serve refreshments next week?
You buy it?
We caught
My
somebody. We caught somebody early on who will go nameless, drinking a cup of coffee, and he did not put $1 in his basket.
You guys are all invited over for coffee later.
One of the things, I noticed that we're now up to 40 participants.
Yep.
And as I scroll down, there's a whole bunch toward the bottom who don't have either audio or video. It looks like they don't have audio. Art Gelston, there's one from Carl, Williams iPod.
They have audio, Larry. It's just that they don't have their mics on,
Oh, okay,
so they can hear us.
okay.
It's better that way so that we don't have everybody talking at one time or background noise.
Righto.
Yeah, because if a phone rings,
Being you have most board members there, I have a question to ask, please. When do we make a decision about the golf tournament?
Brian,
I would guess,
Okay, got the mute on.
I would guess by the second week in May.
Okay. Thank you.
as I
Yeah, Howie,
indicated,
we could talk about that too, Howie.
Okay, Brian.
as I
Give me my
indicated
take
earlier, Howie, I keep getting emails from Sterling and from Brennan, and they are having golf. They are cleaning the carts. They are sanitizing the carts. They are doing a number of things. They are telling us to leave the pole, the pins in place, and bring our own beverages, etc. So they keep, the golf courses are open, and they're,
But not the luncheons.
well, the luncheon we could, I mean, that's something else, probably that would have to be canceled, but at least we'll get the golf in, and get together, and the same thing with the, as I said, with the cleanup, please get the group of guys together and we can see each other, and it'd be great to see people. We've been, what do they call it, quarantined in place, but not for any reason other than Carol's situation with the infection she had all last year. My kids and not allowing us to do anything other than go to the doctor that she needs. So it's good to be good to get out and see people.
Just one comment to make in regard to the golfing. I had heard from some friends down in Florida. One of the mechanisms, if we do get to play, whether as part of the tournament or individually, there'd be, I think, a high likelihood that we would each be in our own golf cart. Doing that will likely reduce the capacity of the golf course a lot. So there's going to be some interesting challenges in how the golf course, would be operating, through this crisis.
Thank you. All right, moving on.
Thank you for the feedback, guys.
We can hold that on comments later and discuss a number of things. Book club, I don't see Dick Harper on the list. Dick, are you on here? No, Dick is not on the list attending, so in-person discussions are postponed due to the closure of the Harry Bennett Library, but a suggestion, and I don't know if we can get a hold of Dick, but maybe Steve, we can set up a book club discussion on Zoom.
Yeah, that would be very easy. I mean, I think from the emails that went back and forth, I got the impression that for $150, we want to get the monthly membership that first off lets us go over 40 minutes, and then we could have multiple meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was going to be under my, under the comments and additional information. But since you brought that up, one of my thoughts is, I say we've had multiple cancellations. One of our speakers is going off to their home in Maine on an island to get away from it all. Special Olympics is canceled out on their own. The Stamford Animal Shelter group canceled out. I canceled a few of the people also, and they all, everybody's in agreement. One of the thoughts I had is, and it'd probably be doing this, it'd probably be something simple to do. The Greenwich Men's Association has all of their past speakers on their website. So we could, I guess, Steve, we could pull up their website and run their videos and get some of these, speakers that we were going to have through them.
Yeah, we can try it.
Let's give it a try, because if we get that full membership, then we can have a 45-minute plus speaker on top of our standard session.
I'll look into that.
Right, yeah, it's just the Greenwich Retired Men's Association.
Steve?
Yeah.
Can I have a word for the songsters?
Yeah, Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah. We do have some thoughts. Obviously, it's very dependent upon the situation. If things are cleared up by May, we probably could double up on our rehearsals and have our normal performances in June. There's also the possibility that possibly we can schedule performances into July, but I would have to really check with the membership of the songsters to see who would be around at that time. Other than that, obviously, things are up in the air just like everybody else, but those are some ways that we think we may be able to continue. dependent upon how the situation works out.
Great. I mean, you could also, do like they did in the Bronx back in the 60s, sing on the street corner.
Yeah, we don't get much money that way.
Oh, you probably get more. Put a hat out, but
Never know.
sing a cappella on the corner, one summer night and stuff like that, the oldies.
Watching all the girls go by.
But they can only go within 6 feet of you.
And you might get arrested for that.
Oops.
Okay. As the saying goes, have a good day and stay healthy and seek immediate medical help. And I tell you, I spent the last year going around hospitals, and I think I only saw maybe 1, 2 that looked like that. But if they all looked like that, we'd be all Russian. So, guys, stay healthy. Take care.
I
You
got a
too.
question. Has anybody gone food shopping?
No problem. I was in Trader Joe's yesterday morning at about 10 o'clock. It was practically empty, but the food was stocked. Everything was there. Had no problem checking out. Run very efficiently and no problem whatsoever.
I was in
In
shop.
the afternoon, Jerry, there was no meat available. My daughter went and picked up some milk and eggs for us, and she said there was no meats available, but she got milk, eggs, and bananas, and a little potted plant.
My
Are
experience,
daffodils,
I hope you
are
enjoy the
daffodils
plant.
edible?
yeah, Dave Kaplan. My experience has been similar. As long as you go in the mornings, Trader Joe's, Acme, Stop and Shop. I've been to all 3 in the last few days, and in the mornings it's not been a problem.
Good.
Yeah, this is Steve. I had my first order from Peapod, and they did. I mean, it took about 4 or 5 days to get the order delivered, but they did it very efficiently. Even text you when they're ready to come to your home. And I guess the biggest bonus was it came in plastic bags, which are. So I now have restocked all the little trash bags that I needed.
Oh, and
Mr. Brian McDermott.
with the
Stop and
panic
Shop.
on paper towels and everything else, for some of the things that Carol needs to do, we go through paper towels like crazy, and there was not a one to be found around. Went on Amazon and got a case of 48 rolls of sparkle paper towels for something like $30, and they were delivered in a couple of days. So Amazon Prime, no delivery fees, and so that's another outlet to get certain things, medicines. She needs certain supplements and things that she has to take, and gotten them through that. So that's another outlet that you can go through, and if you order, they'll tell you pretty much when it'll come.
So now we know where to come for paper towels if we need a roll.
Right.
Yeah,
Notice it was paper towels, not
$34 a roll.
How about toilet paper, Joe?
Toilet paper we had. I mean, Christ, how much toilet paper can you go through? I mean, you buy a big, what are they, 6 packs of 6 rolls, there's 36 rolls of toilet paper. I mean, that's going to last
About an hour and a half.
I don't think that's something we need to know.
No,
Too much information.
Yeah. We're almost into items of discussion and jokes. We're into the what was that, the Japanese method? You use 1 piece of toilet paper.
Okay, Joe.
Too much information.
Yes.
You want a
Down,
demonstration?
down here in Key West, somebody went to the store and asked where the nuts were. They were in the toilet paper aisle.
Yeah, so that one.
I guess all of us are going to have long hair before this is over because
That
no more haircuts.
either that or do a number 3 buzz.
Got a haircut this morning.
Who did?
Me, Howie.
Not me.
Oh,
Where'd you go, barber?
Yeah.
I thought the barber shop was be closed.
Well, that's what he's afraid of. That's why I went down there.
Today's paper says they've been requested to close up hair places.
they've closed and then Westport has closed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I wouldn't, would not recommend going to a barber.
How about the nail salon?
They don't use razors anymore, but there was an interesting article, an email that described this coronavirus, all these novel viruses like H1N1 and the Asian flu. Regular flu viruses come from human germs, so to speak. I was just in layman terms, where these others are mutations that come from animals, and our bodies do not have any natural defenses against these animal viruses. But that's why it's difficult for us to fight them off, or impossible, without developing vaccines. And so that's one of the reasons. Evidently, they said that this one came from animal contact, and they didn't say what animal, in China, and then started spreading. And now apparently there's a couple of different strains. So that's just some point of information.
Speaking of that, the Stamford Museum and Nature Center, which is a great place to visit, and I walk there every day, but I was told today is the last day. They're closing too.
Who's that? The center?
The Stamford Museum and Nature Center,
Oh.
up High Ridge Road.
You can probably walk in the Arboretum.
That's a good idea. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure it's open.
Can't close it.
Well, they can close the front gate. That's what they did at the Stamford Museum and Nature Center. They haven't yet today. It's still open today, but this is the last day. But I'll try the Arboretum.
All right. Anybody have anything to discuss or bring up, or jokes, or?
My battery is getting low.
Hopefully it's your computer battery and not a pacemaker.
Joe, I just wanted to point out, related to the virus, Stamford Hospital, they have a few good things going over there to help people out. And I know there's been a brief email submitted to a few guys, but for the people on the Zoom discussion this morning, just for their benefit, just some of the highlights real quick. Stamford Hospital, they have a website. It's stanfordhealth.org/COVID-19-update. They have a resource center that links to the CDC website and the WHO website. They also have a hotline for COVID-19, that's 203-276-4111. And just a few days ago on Monday, they opened what they call a prescribed alternative testing hub, PATH, those are the call letters. It was opened at the Stamford Hospital campus off West Broad Street. And the doctors at that point, now they can send their patients to PATH to have samples collected. So it should be noticed, though, that if you use that service, and it has to be, you need an appointment. It's available only by appointment, and the patients must have a doctor's prescription to be tested. And of course, we all hope that we don't need Stamford Hospital to check on the virus for all our activity, but it's just another resource to keep people informed. So I just wanted to pass that along. They have, of course, as you know, a lot of competent physicians and nurses at Stamford Hospital. Many of those doctors, they're in the best doctors in Fairfield County in that listing. It's just another resource for the guys, just so that they know about it. Again, we hope no one needs it, but it's always good to have various pieces of information to help us all out during this crisis.
Yeah. Just as another piece of information, if you're thinking of going to Government Center for any reason, only by appointment. If you don't have an appointment with someone at the Government Center, they will not let you in.
Okay, Carl, you gonna put up the limericks, or am I gonna have to read them?
Why don't we just read those ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay. These are limericks that was submitted by Alan Sosnowitz. And the first one is, an Australian native one day bought a new boomerang with his pay. But he broke down and cried, for however he tried, he could not throw the old one away. Next one is, Hans Andersen went on a spree and came home at 3:15. His wife, all irate, screamed, "Why are you late? And fairy tales won't do it for me." Italians love Paganini, Puccini, and Signor Rossini. But lately I found they're more thrilled by the sound of an excellently tuned Lamborghini. That would be Alan. There once was a man named McBride who jumped down a manhole and died. He's never been found in those pipes underground, and his end was proclaimed sewer-side. And then here's there was a young lady from Exeter, so pretty that men craned her necks at her. And one was so brave to take out and wave. And he says, "Sorry, guys, you have to make up your own ending for this one."
Hey, Joe.
And somebody suggested that we have a vote of email, by emails of what the next line should be. But I think we don't need to take a vote on what the next line would be on that one. So with that, anybody have any other comments? Howie, I think you're primed to say something.
Yeah, I think it went very well, Joe.
Yes.
Thank
Next
you,
week,
Joe.
we want to see you using that treadmill instead of sitting by it.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe, you'll see it.
I think a special thank you goes out to Steve for setting this up.
Oh,
And Stu, job well done, guys.
Thank you.
great.
Well,
And, okay, only if you don't want it, I suggest that, and we'll take, by no, we go for the I don't know, do we want to do $150 a year, or we do the $12.99 a month? Steve?
I don't know. I mean,
It's a pain in the neck to send them a payment every month.
well, it's got to go on somebody's credit card and then be billed to the men's club. So it's probably easier just doing it a one-time shot.
Okay, great. I mean, we're probably looking at a couple of months. So what are we talking about? And we could use it for other things too sometimes. So I would suggest, we go for the full amount. So this way, if we want to run the videos from Greenwich or do Robin Williams golf video from YouTube or anything like that, that goes past the the time we can. We took a little extra time because today, because we've been talking about anything and everything. So unless somebody has objections, we'll continue with this format for the foreseeable future.
Sounds good.
And still take care of the arranging of payment. Excuse me, Steve.
Yeah, I'll take care of that. Okay, unless, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Yes,
Second.
heard it.
Okay. I'm going to click the little button here that says end meeting.
Oh, wait, before you end meeting, since Ira was not on here, this meeting has been recorded, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't need to take minutes of it?
Ira can watch it and take notes.
All right, so,
The assistant secretary.
oh, Lou, have you been taking notes?
Yeah, I took a few notes.
Sorry about that, Lou.
No problem. I took some notes.
Okay, well, you can revisit the video if you
Get the
want.
last lyric.
So are we sending out minutes the way we normally do?
Please, yes, let's do that. So the people that weren't on here, will see that we did have a meeting,
Good idea.
and indicate that it went well, and please join us if they can. If they need help, maybe they can, Steve, if they need help, can they contact you for technical help, advice?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. I don't know why I'm yelling. The microphone is here.
Yeah, they can contact me.
Or me.
I think.
Okay.
Okay, with that, guys, thank you all for joining us. And God stay blessed, that you all stay well. And we'll see you next week. It's been
Okay.
great.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Meeting is ending.